Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you with another StarCraft commentary. We got another game between Light and Rain here. Light, I guess, going by non.ge. That's kind of an interesting, hadn't heard that idea of his before, but he's going to be the blue tearing up here in the top left of the map. And he's going to be playing against, there he is, adjusting his monitor. Interesting. He's going to be playing against Rain, who's going to be the Protoss in the bottom left of the map. There he is. Both wee baby StarCraft players at this point in time. This is a Winners League game from 2011. 2011. Now, I already did one game between these two guys. That was, they played 2 games in the Kespen period together. Only 2 games against each other, both in the team leagues. I did one as a preview of the finals after they had already been played, but Tastosis VOD hadn't come out yet. I hadn't watched the series yet. Now I've actually watched the final series, and so spoiler alert, if you have not seen the ASL Finals between Light and Rain, I'm going to reveal the result of that in just a moment, because this is now like a post-preview. I don't know. I don't even know what to call this. We'll see what ends up in the stream title, because this is like after my preview, but my preview was actually after the fact, but it was before I watched it. But now this is after I watched it, but it also happened before the finals, so anyway. But yeah, I just thought I'd do another game between these two guys, because I wanted to ruminate a bit on the finals just for a moment and watch another game between them from long ago when they were both I mean, I guess this is 2011, by the way, also. So Rain was a player who we didn't see basically at all in any leagues until like 2010, I think. And he was never like a star or anything like that, but he was a solid player in like 2011. And so this is probably like a pretty even matchup between these two guys. And so it's interesting that, you know, here they are back in this time, and they're both not really accomplished individual league players, but they were very good team league players, and so they were kind of an even match. And then we have the ASL Finals, where I would have also said that they were an even match. You know, both players being superstars of their races for the age, and you know, and really super accomplished. Especially Rain, you know, having actually won some finals before. Light having, I don't think he ever done it before. So, again, spoiler alert, Light finally won a series. He finally won a finals, I mean. And he was someone that, you know, Artosis has been saying for years. He kind of feels like someone who's on the level that could win a finals. And now he finally has. And so it's really, really cool to see that Light finally accomplished it. I didn't expect it to be such a one-sided victory, though. You know, it was interesting to see. Well, actually, I don't know if I would even call it one-sided. It wasn't really one-sided. It was like the score was one-sided, but it wasn't like it was, oh, Light just dominated every single game, right? Rain had definite moments where he could have won certain games, and Light just played better in macro, I think. I think like their mechanics were both really on point almost all the time, but Light just managed to macro better. There were several times where I saw you know, Light about to fold. Like he was just under onslaught from a pressure and an attack from Rain, and he almost died, and then somehow he just still had enough for the second wave, or the next wave, I should say. And so it was that was kind of what for me was the defining characteristic of the series, was the fact that Light, when he should have gotten his, you know, entire army killed, and he shouldn't have been able to rebuild a new army fast enough, he did anyway. So pretty strong play. Anyway, let's get into this game here though really quick. This is the game from a long time ago, and again, if you haven't seen that series yet, sorry if I spoiled it, but I did give you a couple warnings. But you should definitely go check out the Tastosis cast. They've got a lot of insight. It's really fun to watch those. So we had this SCV run in there. Oh, is this probe's trying to do the same thing? I think that probe, so the SCV ran in, and the Dragoons were not able to block it, and so Light was able to scout that there was not a Nexus. And then we had the probe go in, and I think he got it. He snuck in far enough to see if there was a command center or not in the natural expansion, and now he definitely has, because Light has fallen back from that outer choke. And so both players scouting that there's no expansion, and then both players expanding. Because Light has his expansion up on the high ground. Although, you know, it's kind of anticipated that that's going to be the case, so Rain can probably kind of guess that's what's happening. Now Light, he scouted no Nexus, but then the Nexus went down shortly after the SCV was killed. Again, something that Light could anticipate, but, you know, it would have been something good to know if it was a super fast Nexus, rather than a little bit of a tech and then going into a Nexus. So, anyway, both players kind of along parallel patterns of play. Parallel play patterns. And just playing it a little bit safe, getting some safe tech, and also trying to get their economy going at the same time. So both players kind of saying, I want to try to survive into the mid game, and that's where I'm going to excel. And both players making that bet, so we'll see who can do it. Of course, this is a very, very different matchup than it would be in... This VOD is having some issues today. Sorry about that. Well, sorry, it's not my fault, but apologies anyways. Anyway, yeah, so I feel like if they do go into that mid-game, like longer game situation, I feel like in 2011, Light would have the advantage. So, but, you know, who knows? Who knows? Well, I mean, you could know, because this game was played 11 years ago, and you could have remembered the result, but, yeah, whatever. By the way, the map is La Mancha. If you're looking at the Korean characters above the minimap, it says La Mancha. It's actually a rare word that has a very literal or very close transliteration available. So we got, wow, okay, so this is interesting because we got two base Arbiter tech, and this is something that I feel like, and I don't have my finger on the pulse of the meta these days or anything like that, but I do feel like my understanding is that the two base Arbiter tech is, especially depending on the map, but is very popular these days in 2022. And so it's kind of interesting to see a kind of a 2022 game maybe being played in 2011. Quick Arbiters going out here. He got the Observers first as well, so he was kind of able to scout what was going on. There's the Observer running into his base to poke around. He's actually got two obs. He's going to scout the Armory, doing some spinning. And he's not going to scout a second Armory just yet, I don't think. But he's going to want to keep an eye on the timing of when those upgrades finish so that he can know. You know, the timings of upgrades are actually super important. It's, as I'm sure you all know, but, you know, if you can mount a timing attack to arrive before their upgrades finish and after yours do, you're going to have such a strength advantage in your general army ability. And so that's probably, you know, it's something to keep an eye on to see when your opponent's upgrades are going to be finishing up. It's interesting that, you know, well, I guess he's parked an Observer near that Armory, right? And so he can kind of keep an eye on that. Actually, it looks like he might have moved it back into the factories to keep an eye on the production. But either way, he can kind of keep a closer eye on... Rain can keep a closer eye on Light's upgrades than Light can keep an eye on Rain's. Rain, actually, does he even have... He's probably... You know, he's got a... Does he have a forge anywhere, actually? I haven't seen it recently. He must have at least one forge somewhere, right? Anyway, Rain expanding to a third base, and Light also following that. And Rain immediately, he's been keeping an eye on this area, and he floated the Observer over there specifically to check. He does see the third base going up, so he's like, okay, I'm cool on my third base. I wouldn't actually be surprised to see Rain get a fourth base in response. You know, Protoss generally wants to keep one base ahead, right? Starport going down. Now, where is that Observer? I wish it would move a little bit further south to see where that Observer went. I'm not sure. You know, I can see the little spot of yellow, a little speck of yellow on the minimap. It is still kind of in the area, but I don't know if it's in position to actually look at the Armory. I don't know if he's actually paying that close of attention to it. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, you can also just click on your opponent's units, obviously, to see what their current upgrades are. But Anyway, so that kind of makes sense. I guess maybe that's what he's gonna do is maybe click on him and see, okay, he's got +1. Let me go check to see if he's getting +2 or whatever. Regardless, we do have a little bit of harassment being attempted by Light. Oh, that mine landed. But he hasn't really landed anything. Both players, this is almost like a no rush 20 game or something like that. Both players just content to sit back and macro. And you know, it's also the fact that by the time your army gets to their base, you, they've got more than you at their base, right? And so if you're on even footing, you don't really necessarily want to attack until you have an advantage. Or until you max out. So both players are kind of like being tentative in that sense as well. That's usually how you can break that sort of stalemate, is doing some kind of harassment. Whether it be vultures or whether it be arbiters running in for a recall perhaps. I don't know if he, well no, actually he's hard their arbiter tribunal up for a little while. He might have the ability to recall already at this point. Anyway, yeah, the second armory is now up, so he basically is probably doing the standard stuff, going for +1 weapons. Does he have observer speed? I think he got observer speed, guys. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that observer is quick, man. Dude, he got observer speed upgrade. I wonder why. I feel like I rarely see that. And now the observer's too fast, and it ran past the Dragoons. And they almost got hit by that mine, actually, because the observer, like, pew, just like got too far ahead, and the vision left the Dragoons area. So anyway, so yeah, he's got +1 ground mech weapons, and he's gonna get 2-1 as well on that. The armor not quite as important, but it is gonna be very substantial. Once you get zealots going in on top of your units, what have you, the armor's gonna be you know, not game breaking or anything like that, but the armor's going to be significant on the mech units just to kind of keep them alive a little tiny bit longer. Dragoon fire, of course, is going to have an effect on that as well. And again, not significant. When the armor is less valuable when you have larger hits, right? 100 minus 1 is only 1%. 10 minus 1 is 10%. So you know, the larger hitting fire of the Dragoons and Zealots is going to mean that the armor isn't going to have as much effect as it would versus Zerg, for example. So, anyway, we got a vessel out as well, and it's funny, it's chilling right in the spot where it should be able to watch for an arbiter coming in and EMP it before it can get a recall off, so very smart there. I believe he has an observer there, though, to see the vessel, but the vessel can see the observer, so he knows that he knows. Yeah, now we got leg speed for the Zealots as well, so they're zooming, and the observer overhead is like, I can keep up. I don't know why, like, that's not normal, right? I feel like I would notice the observer speed if it had happened more often, but it seems like it doesn't happen very often. But he got that. I wonder what it is about. Maybe it's because it's a big map? I don't know, man. Anyway, yeah, Light's just, I think he's just content on these 3 bases to max out is what it looks like. He doesn't look like, he's not like really feeling, he's not giving me the gut impression. Yeah, the Observer and the Science Vessel are just chilling next to each other, so that's kind of cool. Whereas, sorry, Light, let me finish that thought. Light seems to be content on 3 bases, whereas Rain has gotten a 4th base in response to that 3rd, and actually a 5th as well. Feeling like he has the map control enough that he can take multiple bases, and might even be thinking about taking a 6th. He's kind of clearing out through... Oh, actually, hold on. He might just be trying to clear out some vultures, planting down some mines, running into this bottom right area. Now, these vultures are doomed, but they can probably get some significant damage done first. We got a 2nd group of gateways going up in the bottom right spawn. He's kind of like saying, I'm going to play 2v1 by myself. Get the bottom right spawn, and all the expansions. I've got my bottom left spawn as well. Oh, that was... for some reason, I'm just especially attuned to potential mine drags on worker lines. And so I saw, even though it was like nowhere close really, I saw those probes running through there, and there was a mine kind of in the vicinity, and I got excited for a minute. Sorry about that. Anyway, Light, you know, Light always kind of looks, he has an interesting look to him when he's playing. He's kind of sitting back, and he looks like he's paying attention to, like, you know, like he's taking a test or something like that. I don't know. He is, or what? Yeah, look at him. He kind of, he just looks like focused and observant almost. He almost looks like, maybe it's because he doesn't move his arms around too much or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we do have 2-1 upgrades now for the mech units. Armory's spinning for that 3-2. He does have another command center actually floating out from the top left, and so wonder where he's going with that actually. The angle it was going, maybe he's going for the 9 o'clock base, I guess. A little bit strange. I guess it kind of makes sense. Most of the actions can be focused in the bottom right now. And the thing is, you kind of want to expand, as Terran, you want to expand towards your opponent a little bit, because then as you're moving in to protect your expansion, you're also pushing towards your opponent's base, right? So I think he probably didn't take 9 o'clock earlier because it's much harder to hold, maybe? I don't know, actually, because then it leaves you, if you take 9 o'clock as the Terran, the Protoss can go around and just go into your natural without, and just avoid your entire forces. So the place where he is now, he can kind of protect both his natural and his third, but now he's gonna have to take a fourth, and it looks like he is posturing to take that mid-left base. Hold that thought though. We do have Rain trying to push in here to try and take that spot, take control away from that spot before the expansion can even get up. While he's being harassed by Vultures on the other side, both players multitasking is being tested here, ladies and gentlemen, as they try to attack and defend at the same time, simultaneously, at the same time, redundantly. And it looks like both players are going to clear up each other's stuff, but, I mean, the control has been taken away from that 9 o'clock spot. Yeah, he was able to take care of that. There's no, well, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say they both cleared each other's forces up, because rather the retreat on Rain's part was because he had finished off what he needed to. That is a big clump of tanks there, right there. And look at this command center. It's just floating around. It doesn't know where to go. It doesn't have a home. It's on a road trip, ladies and gentlemen. It's just floating around seeing the sights. Look at this canyon full of gooey oil. Look at this empty desert with rocks in it. This is such an enjoyable road trip I'm taking, but you know, eventually that command center is going to want to find a home base to get to. Definitely no metaphor from our life going on at all in this situation. And he's pushing into this interesting, to this valuable high ground area, but trying to take control of the middle of the map. But again, this isn't going to secure that base. It looks like he might be giving up on taking the optimum real estate on the left, saying, you know what, the housing market is too expensive. I'm going to take the top right instead. And Rain, in the meantime, is taking the opportunity to go in here. Now, he's attacking uphill. This is actually a really bad situation. He doesn't have any zealots anymore either. And, oh, sorry about that. Please chillin'. My alarm going off in the background. I don't know if you guys could hear that. But... sorry, I paused because the Korean casters were getting a little excited. I was trying to see if I could figure out what they were talking about exactly. Anyway, yeah, so point being, Rain didn't have a very good attack there. It was held off by Light, but again, Light still not quite able to hold the territory that he wants to on the mid-left, and now that he's kind of stretched himself too thin, trying to go into the middle of the map without having that high ground advantage, without the really secure spot, he's going to lose a lot of forces. Yeah, there's the spot that he had before, and he's kind of a little bit scattered around the map now, unfortunately, and this is just not a good situation at all for Light. I think he's kind of fallen behind. He doesn't really have a way to get that fourth base. This is like, what is this, 1 2 3 4 5, it's 5 bases to 3. It's not a situation you want to be into, especially because that ratio changes when you start mining out, and it becomes, you know, 5 to 3, becomes 4 to 2, becomes 3 to 1, becomes 2 to 0, you know? And the advantage, the economic advantage of your opponent gets higher and higher the longer the game goes. They are both mined out actually in their mains actually, so it is basically like 4 to 2 at this point. And that is not a good situation. Light is trying to take that left side base one more time. If he doesn't secure it this time, I think he's going to fall too far behind. And we did see some carriers popping out. Light seems to be ready for it. He does have some Goliaths in the field. He's actually pushing, this is what I was talking about. If you expand towards your opponent, you can be in a position where you're kind of protecting your expansion and you're pushing on them at the same time, and he's pushing into the natural expansion of Light right now, but the carriers are coming into the rescue. There's only a handful of Goliaths here. Again, Light kind of spread out across the map in different various locations, and oh no! that new command center is gone to the top right after all, and it's being chased away by Dragoons and Arbiters, and it's gonna go down. And in the meantime, Light's attempt at pushing into Rain's natural expansion is thwarted as well. There's 5 carriers out now. Weapons being upgraded for the carriers there as well, by the way. He's got 3 Stargates, so he could even get up to 8, I believe it would be the number he'd go to. Some beautiful storms on the clumped up tanks. They are in siege, so they're able to move back out of the storms, but they are unsieged, so they're also not doing any damage, as much damage to these Dragoons. And oh, just beautiful storms wiping out the tanks. That was the, you know, that's like the carriers are coming in here. They're like, hey, KS, don't kill steal. That's our job, is to kill the tanks, because we don't get attacked by them. And the High Templar are like, hold my beer. Anyway, carriers now combating some Goliaths. That's not their favorite thing to do, but they are going to have the advantage regardless. Kind of careless Arbiter getting into the mix and dying needlessly there, unfortunately. But yeah, I think the Light is just kind of falling apart at this point. He has secured-ish, well, not secured. He's taken the mid left. There's the base right there. This is a hard spot to go into on land. On air, it's really easy to get in there, actually. It's actually a pretty good spot for air. The carriers are going up towards the 12 o'clock base, though, instead, way across the map. And I think he might even be figuring, if I can draw his army back to the top, I can just run in with some zealots in the mid-left, and his army will be too far away. And look at this. Light is giving it up. He's giving up that base. He's trying to go for kind of a base trade situation here. He's marching south instead. I think he knows he's behind, and he's hoping he can get a 2-for-1, something like that. If he can get a 2-for-1, I mean, you know, that's a pretty good discount in most situations. And he's actually rebuilding a command center at 12. That's a little bit odd, because he just gave up that base to try and attack here. And actually, look, what the heck? There's 2 sets of carriers. Oh my goodness, he just has so many carriers. I was like, how did the carriers get down here from up north? Did they get recalled down? Oh, maybe they did actually, because only 1 carrier is up there. He might have actually defensive recalled. I might have blinked and missed it. Apologies if I missed that. That's a really cool move. A defensive recall to bring the carriers back to defend. Stasis on those Goliaths as well. And now he's running the carriers back across the map towards 12 again, even though this 1 carrier like has it covered and has it handled. Anyway, yeah, this is not looking good for Light. His counterattack to the south. Look at that stasis. Oh my gosh, so many interceptors stuck in there as well. I think that's the most units I've ever seen stasis at once. Pretty amazing stuff there. But yeah, the counterattack to the south, not doing anything. So Light not able to do any counter damage, whereas he's losing so much stuff. What's going to happen to those interceptors when they wake up from stasis? Are they going to fly across the map? I hope they show that. That'd be kind of cool to see what happens with. I mean, I'm sure that's what's going to happen, but you don't see it very often, right? Come on, see it. Come on, watch the unstasis. Wait, no, don't move. No, Observer, don't get impatient. Observer, go back to the stasis. Go back to this. Oh my god, the carriers are actually reuniting with their stasis interceptors before the stasis wars off, so... JK, it was anticlimactic. But from what I understand, if you recall carriers while their interceptors out, the interceptors will fly all the way across the map super fast to catch up with them. It's kind of cute. I don't know if I've actually seen that either. I've just heard it. So, I could be wrong. Anyway, yeah, Light, well, he's doing another little counterattack here. I think those are actually the same Goliaths as before. They just got stasis before. And so that's what stopped them, and now they've woken up. They're going for an attack here. They're going to take out a cannon. They are going to take out some probes. But it's a little bit too little and too late. And it's not going to really change the flow of this game, I don't believe. But, you know, who knows? Now, Rain has taken another base at the 3 o'clock position. Light has rebuilt his 12 o'clock base, I think. But there's not a lot left there. He's mined out his natural, so it's basically 2 bases mining to 3, actually. 2 bases mining to 3. It was 2 to 4, but taking out the probes at the 6 o'clock base is pretty good. Oh no, oh god, no, don't. This is a disaster. I mean, it's a disaster because he's pulling out a lot of SCVs, and the Dragoons are actually getting free SCV kills, which is actually a pretty good thing. But charging on ground into that location is just not really going to work. And as I say that, it works, and he gets in there. There was just, I guess there was only 2 tanks, right? If there'd been like 5 tanks, that would be basically an impenetrable position. But with only 2 or 3 tanks there, the Dragoons just weren't taking enough damage to slow them down. They were just like, oh, you got an SCV wall? Cool, free kills. Carriers running rampant around the north side of the map, again, killing off command centers. They're going to be heading for 12 o'clock next. The Dragoons actually might get driven out. The main army here has kind of fallen back into this position. He's kind of attacked through the same choke that he was defending to try and take out those Dragoons. And he might take out those Dragoons, but the damage has been done, I think, to that situation. He's taking out 12 o'clock again with those carriers just sniping down the command center there. So, man, this VOD is really having some trouble, ladies and gentlemen. 2-2. He's actually got really good upgrades. He's got 2-2 upgrades on his air units, and part of the important thing of that is actually the armor on the interceptors keeps them from dying to Goliaths, I think. Well, I mean, that's the purpose, I think, but like, I wonder how the maths out on that. Like, if you've got +3 weapons on the Goliaths, is +2 armor even going to change the amount of hits it takes to kill an interceptor? I actually don't know that. I missed. Anyway, might be something to think about or figure out, I guess. But it's also going to protect the carriers. The armor is going to protect the carriers, make sure they don't get picked off. It's pretty effective. I mean, armor is very effective against Goliaths in general. There's the GG, though, from what was it? Non-go? Something like that. Anyway, Light's going to go ahead and lose this game. This was a Winners League game, by the way, so Rain is going to continue on. Actually, I didn't see what the score was. Maybe was that the winning game? I'm not even sure. Actually, they're all leaving, so I think that might have been the winning game. Very well done. Don't worry, Light. You may have lost the series for your team now. You may have lost to Rain now, but you're going to wreck his face in 11 years, bro. Don't worry. Actually, oh, okay, there was a huddling. It was it's now 1-0. So that's the score. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed ASL as well. The games were good, even though it was if you haven't seen it, even the games were really good to watch. Even though it was, like I said, sort of one-sided by terms of score. It wasn't really like a one-sided series by any means. It was some close games, some really fun games to watch. So, anyways, hope you all enjoyed this one. Thanks very much for watching. GG. Take care.